look, I've been knocked down several times, but you get back up and you just believe. You have this faith. We can't see, but you have this faith that everything is being orchestrated in our favor, even when we don't think it is, and just believing it. And when you're ready and when you are prepared, it will come, however it comes. And that's the beauty of this whole story about Y bars. I never went to my bed one night saying, oh, I got to come up with a bar.
Welcome back to another episode of The Burn. I am Ben Newman, and you figured it out by now. Every single week, we are bringing you stories of athletes, entrepreneurs, celebrities, individuals that have found that when they stay connected to that burn that lies inside of them. And remember, many people forget to talk about the burn. They talk about why, they talk about purpose, but they forget about that burn that actually ignites why and purpose on a daily basis, that then causes us to take the necessary action, and actually causes us to take action maybe when we have fears, doubts, and uncertainties. And on today's episode with my friend Chris Forte, you are going to see there were some fears, doubts, and uncertainties that maybe he had on a yoga mat back in December of 2014 that led to some of the biggest revelations in his life, led to him becoming the author of Humble Warrior, led him to the project, I call it a project, that's what entrepreneurs do, but the full-blown company, which happens to produce the greatest bars on the market, period. They're called Y bars. So we're going to talk about why are they called Y bars. You see the synergy here? And just for me, I mean, there's chocolate, there's mango, Cherry Chia. You cannot go wrong with Cherry Chia. So I had to give him a plug on the bars. But you can tell that Chris and I are going to have some fun in this interview. But Chris, I want to turn it over to you. Welcome to The Burn. But what excites me is you call yourself a spiritual entrepreneur, and it's this energy and passion that you feel. I actually felt it just through like DMs when we first met, right? And just, I was like, this guy's like on fire with energy. And then I saw videos of you talking about Y bars, and I was like, this guy is on fire for life. So Chris, talk about the burn. Welcome to the show. And where does this fire for life come from for you?
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it's the burn. I love it. That's the burn, the fire. Where does that come from? I think it comes from, it goes all the way back to when I was, had the boxing basement at the age of 15, and my parents were going through a tough time of losing their jobs and not knowing what's going to happen. And that basement was kind of like my sanctuary at the time. I worked out hard. I'm boxing to exhaustion, where, I'm laying flat on the basement floor, just in sweat of exhaustion. I hear this beautiful voice, that just said, keep on working. You're going to work for me. And I think that has always stayed with me. And that voice, we can call it intuition, but to me, that always has been God. And that has been that burn, and just knowing that. And I think that is, and part of that was like, you'll always work for yourself. And I think I saw my parents work corporate jobs, and in my journey, that wasn't going to be. So, at a very young age, I made that decision. I followed all the steps of going through high school and through college and playing baseball and division and sports. And I got my first job out of school for a couple of years, but my own business. So that has always been there for my early 20s on. But I call myself a spiritual entrepreneur because as I was going through this process, an entrepreneur could go through a lot of lonely times because it's kind of a roller coaster, ups and downs. But for me, it's always been a purpose of going deeper and finding more of myself and asking those questions of like why and this and that. And I hope that kind of frame.
No,
where
It's perfect. And so I actually want you to take us, now that you guys can see the fire and the passion, and that it's
yeah,
been there. I love the faith-based approach to it. Many people have seen that throughout Uncommon Leadership, our new book. You and I have actually had conversations from it. You had mentioned some of the things that you see and how I communicate online, and faith is so important. So I
yeah,
love that burn comes from your faith. Take us to this yoga mat. It's
yeah,
December of 2014. You
right,
know that there's this Y Bars company run by a guy named Jay Kinney across the street from you
right,
in Michigan, by the way, which, me being a Michigan State guy, it's another one of the connections
right,
that you and I have. So
yeah.
here you're in Michigan, you're in the yoga studio, and tell us what's going through your mind and kind of how this relationship with Y Bars started,
Sure.
and actually your passion for bars, right? For
Yeah.
actually the nutrition of bars.
Right. It was kind of like a divine intersection, I call it. So, through my path, I discovered yoga in around 2012, 2013. I just fell in love with it. And it was something that was a part of my lifestyle that can basically was a complement of being an entrepreneur, but also going through tough times. And, through those times I went through divorce that I never thought would happen. I just, we were a tight family, but it just didn't work out. So Christmas morning, I'm December 25th, 2014. I'm in this position called the humble warrior, and I just the floodgates open. I'm sad about a death of a marriage and all this stuff.
Mm.
But then I hear that beautiful voice I heard back when I was 15 saying, you now have a book you can write called The Humble Warrior. And again, that was that voice. And writing that book and going through that time, again, was going deeper and deeper and deeper of what to do. But it was also getting deeper in my yoga practice, which was also now I was starting to go through a cleansing process of all the foods that I was eating in my body. It was like this was all happening at once. And I've been a bar eater since the early 90s. And once I started looking at the ingredients, I couldn't put another bar in my body. And that was a big void in my life from 2014 to 2017. So now let's fast forward. Here I am. I go to this juice place every day right across from my yoga studio to get my smoothie. Well, on this one winter day, this young guy with the cardboard box with bars is slipping on the ice. And it's just him and I. And he's handing these bars to the owner, and the owner's giving him a check. And I know the owner, he's not putting anything in there unless it's clean. And I go, what's going on here? And he goes, Chris, this is the best bar ever. And the chef had one bar on him, and it was is my favorite, the cacao bar. And I took a bite in that, and I was like, wow, this is the best bar I've ever had. And it was like, I heard the chef's story. 4 hours later, I went out with him, his fiance, said, to do with this? And he goes, I know I want to bring this out to the world. And we said, why not? And that started the why about the why with Y Bars.
Mm.
But it was also saying, how are we different? A bar doesn't have a purpose. So why goes much deeper to ask each one of us, why do we even have bars? Why do they exist? Why do we put this in our body? And then, so it really, that's what started the conversation. And then me being an athlete and loving sports and just like, dude, pro sports doesn't even have a bar. So someone's missing the mark. A bar is not really doing what it's we think the intent should be, which is give me something that tastes good, that's clean, and that is fuel for the body. And that you mentioned we're from Michigan. The clients we took it to were the Detroit Tigers and Red Wings.
So I got to pause you right here, because hold on. I know there are so many of our listeners. I want you to capture what Chris just said. He said he felt that sports needed it. Hey, I'm in Detroit, so why not go to the Red Wings and the Detroit Tigers?
Yep.
Everybody listening, and some people they go all in. Other people they pull back and they wait because of fears, doubts, and uncertainties. You have to try. You have to come off the sidelines. And I think what I love about this part of your story, Chris, is that it was almost like this: why not me? Why not us?
Right.
Why shouldn't it be we believe in the bar so much? So now take us to the fact, but I wanted everybody to know, like at some point in time, you've got to get off the sidelines and choose why not me and go all in if you believe in it. And your extreme belief has now resulted in what?
Yes. And I mean, bingo, exactly. It's like, that's what it's like, Seneca, there's a great quote by Seneca, is when, luck is when preparation opportunity. And that's exactly what, like, with what you just said, that is like, wow, this is so good. Let's bring it to the top athletes in the world to, number one, validate what our belief system was. There's a healthy, active lifestyle going on, especially what's going on. And anybody that's moving their bodies, if it's once, twice, or 5 or 7 days a week, there's this snack that's been missing in the marketplace. And that's this, and that's with Y bars, because we're not going to be the bar for everybody, but we are the bar for those that are really conscious of taking care of their body and what they put in their body. And I think that's what that answers our why. Why do bars exist? I need something to get me through my day if it's a pre-post workout. I need something to get me through my day if it's a snack in my car or for breakfast or an in-between snack between dinner. But what I can know when I know about a Y bar is they do what they say with 3 hours of fuel, meaning I now mentally know that if I have this bar in my lifestyle, I'm good for 3 hours. So we feel it does a lot more than just tastes good, feels good, but mentally. And two people I want to point out, we have 2 PGA golfers who have carried a Y bars in their bag, Tom Hoge and Hudson Swafford. And they've been carrying the bar, Tom for about 3 years and Hudson for about 2. Both had great tournaments, the last 2 tournaments, the Northern Trust and the BMW Championship. But one thing we can't measure, but I almost know that they are mentally now more sharp, because they know when that hunger kicks in or whatever, they're taken care of. And that bar is in their bag. And I don't know if it cuts off a stroke or 2 strokes in a 4-round tournament, but that's what this bar can do. And we're seeing it over and over and over. Tampa Bay Rays.
I was just going to say, Drew Hanlon, who is one of the top NBA skills trainers in the world, my dear friend, he's got a chapter in the book. He and I push and challenge each other, both being St. Louis kids. He's a huge lover of Y bars. And you talk about a guy who needs endurance. He will train people all day long. And it's just incredible what Y bars have done for him and his level of performance to do what he does, even with his NBA athletes.
Yeah, and Drew's a perfect example. Drew came across our bars, loves them. He keeps them in the gym for the players. And those guys, like you said, are in that gym all day long, training. And, it's led now to the bars are in the NBA, and there's going to be some exciting things happening with some NBA players that love the bar. And I think that's what's happening is like this movement's just happening because this is what's been kind of missing. And I think what we can't put on the packaging, but what's happening over and over is more and more people are having the bars, and it's being part of their diet. And it's because I think how it makes them feel and never how in the way that works for them in their daily lifestyle.
I think what is so unique is you've taken the burn, right? You've taken your faith.
Yep.
You now have this product that you believe in with your why and the purpose. And the action is sharing how much you believe in this product. And you could feel your passion. And, so oftentimes people try to force a result. When you are truly passionate, not a forced passion, I'm going to tell you I believe in something, but when you actually believe. So I hope everybody watching, if there's something you believe in, there's a way that there has to be true, authentic, engaged passion behind what you do. And so to me, it's no surprise the more and more I learn of the opportunities that Y Bar continues to have, Chris. It's because of that passion. It's the belief that other people become attracted to. And then quite frankly, you taste the bar and you're like, wait a second, this isn't one of those, like, you told me the bar is really great. It's like,
right.
I like you, I like your energy, but man, this bar is not good.
Right.
I don't know what Jay, the chef, puts in these bars, but I'm like, these bars are unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so how important has passion been for you in having these real, authentic conversations?
Well, I think it's everything at the end of the day, and I love and Ben, I love what you're doing and everything. And it's like I even saw one of your clips that regarding, sometimes if you fail or you get knocked down, it's how you get back up. And that is the message I just want to say is, look, I've been knocked down several times, but you get back up and you just believe. You have this faith. We can't see, but you have this faith that everything is being orchestrated in our favor, even when we don't think it is, and just believing it. And when you're ready and when you are prepared, it will come, however it comes. And that's the beauty of this whole story about Y bars. I never went to my bed one night saying, oh, I got to come up with a bar. I never did. And it was just matched up at the right time. Chef Jay and I were matched up at the right time in this journey. And it's no accident I've been eating bars for 25 years. It's no accident I've been an athlete. It's no accident I got knocked down several times. It came, and that is where the burn comes back. It's like being an instrument, feeling like you have a responsibility now that this is good for the world. And it's much bigger than Jay or Chris or Y bars. This is something that belongs in the world. And to be part of that divine orchestration and just kind of like just be an instrument and a messenger. And it just happens to be through a bar, but it's much bigger than that.
Well, Chris, this has been awesome, and I appreciate your passion. I appreciate the fire. I appreciate that burn that lies inside of you. I got to tell you guys again, it is the Cherry Chia, in case you forgot, because I was so excited. I was going to mention this at the end, but I got so excited in the beginning. The Cherry Chia flavor is absolutely incredible. Make sure to check out Y Bars. We will put in the notes for the show all the ways that you can learn more about Y Bars, but I think you'll feel the same. And they're also, it's the energy that it provides. It's the sustainable fuel, right? I've had bars where I eat it and then I'm hungry for something else. I mean, it's really incredible how intentional you've been with the development of the product. Chris, what's the last thing you would leave, right? Whether it's something that comes from the humble warrior, whether it's that courageous action step to get people off that sideline where they're waiting. What's the final message you have for our listeners? And I so much appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, just we all are connected. God speaks through the heart. Follow your heart. Get to a place where if it's getting off the sideline, only you know. And you just know that you are backed by something so much more powerful that we all have to get through. It's a process for growth. We are here to have a beautiful life, but we have to do the work. It doesn't come to us. We got to push through. And, I'm pulling for you. And, and I'm just so grateful to meet you, Ben, and be part of your group and your listeners. It just keeps getting better when you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. That's the secret.
For the right reasons when you have that kind of energy.
You got it. You got it, brother.
So, Chris, thank you so much. Please share this episode with maybe a friend of yours, somebody that you care about, that not only is looking for fuel in the most amazing bar that I've ever tasted, but also needs that message of patience, having a vision, having a goal. December 2014, here we are, it's 2021, getting ready to roll into 2022. And Chris is sharing the message of the passion still going as this company is taking over the world with their bar. So for those of you, I hope you paid attention, share this with somebody who needs it. And for you on your journey, take that necessary action and believe in yourself. Make sure you understand your why and capture that right fuel through Y Bar.